Well, so Hooker is not an upgrade from Burnside, and I just want this war to be over. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And Johnny, it's a shit week.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, what else is new?
It's hot. And apparently that means we're going to fight. And so we left off last week right before having the massive battle for Hooker's big battle plan to flank Lee. And, well, it's going to kick off this week, Johnny.
All right. And he's going to be successful and end this war.
Yeah, it's going to start on May 1st with Hooker's movements of 70,000 troops to flank Lee. It's going to be spotted immediately
at 70,000
at Fredericksburg as Lee moves a huge chunk of his army from Fredericksburg to intercept, because he did not do this very sneakily.
No,
Lee is going to leave 10,000 men at Fredericksburg underneath Early to oppose Sedgwick, who Hooker, rightfully so, left Sedgwick at Fredericksburg with the intent that as Hooker attacks Lee's flank, Sedgwick is going to also attack Fredericksburg. Twofer.
Okay.
So that if one fails, maybe the other one will be successful, and you can kind of like meet in the middle.
Get a couple options.
It's not a bad plan. That's not a bad plan.
Let's try. How'd it go?
Hooker's going to go ahead and make the bonehead move that despite heavily outnumbering Lee, he's going to stop his advancement and withdrawal of Chancellorsville. Like, he's on the way to Lee. Yeah, Lee's moving, but Lee's not prepared.
Why?
He's like 3-1 at this point, outnumbering Lee, and it just goes, you know what? Lee's moving. Lee knows I'm here, so I'm going to withdraw back towards Chancellorsville.
He wasn't a sneak attack. Just go do the thing.
It also doesn't help that the Union Cav, which is supposed to be raising hell down by Richmond, is not raising all that much hell down by
Are they just chilling out? What's going on there? They're just sitting along the countryside.
I mean, they're on their way, but they're not. It's not like they're not making enough of a threat for Lee to divert a large chunk of army down towards Richmond, which was the intent. That didn't happen.
All right.
So
cool. So now,
yep. At this point, Lee at max, where he's positioned, has 47,000 troops to Hooker 70. So, but that's not really at max, because it's really 2-1, but more closer to 3-1 in some sections of the battlefield. Now, in any case, out in Grant's neck of the wood, that's the first battle. That first day of battle of Chancellorsville is we see each other moving, and then we're like, we're done. So it's not. You can't really call it. It's not really a battle. They're just setting up for the battle.
They're just flexing.
Out in Grant's neck of the woods, forces underneath McClernand will engage Confederates outside Port Gibson. They are attempting to take this port to operate as a hub to cross the entire army across the said river, to then go on foot to engage Vicksburg. This is Grant's new throw it at the wall. See if this one sticks.
I hope it does.
I hope this one does, because I'm getting old of this one. McClernand is actually going to take the city port by the evening, securing Grant's crossing of the river. So,
yes, let's
success
go.
At least
let's
out
go.
there. At least out there. On the 2nd of May, during the late hours, Lee and Jackson are going to come together. They're going to have a little meeting of the minds here. They're going to have a little meeting of the minds. They're going to come up with a bold plan where Jackson is basically going to ride behind the Union Army to hit Hooker on the left flank, which is a stupid, horrible plan, because the entire time you're going to be exposed to Union line of sight. And then if the attack does go off well, you're going to be like your whole flank, as you're marching to hit Hooker's left, you've got this whole section of Hooker's army, which I believe is held by Reynolds, which can just march forward and hit the flank.
Well, so let them.
That's all that has to happen. This is a suicide run for Jackson. This is unbelievably stupid of a move.
Do it.
So do it. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Do it.
Do it.
And then Johnny, on the morning of the 2nd,
he does it?
He does it. And then despite multiple generals going to Hooker saying, the fucking army's moving right there to our flank, maybe we should do something about it, Hooker goes, nah. And doesn't.
Why?
And then Jackson proper fucks the Union left, or right, the Union right, Confederate left, Union right. And that's we're basically folding up the whole damn line of the Union Army. They get, this is Confederates coming into Union camp completely and totally unawares while they're eating their breakfast. Mind you, by the way, if you want the battle in full detail, we have a whole Battle of Chancellorsville, part 1 and 2 for that. Go watch that. Meanwhile, you got other generals that are like, I believe again, I think it's Reynolds, I can flank him. Let me flank him. He goes to Hooker, says, give me the authority to go move forward, and I will destroy Jackson. And Hooker goes, nah.
Why? Just why not? Why not?
Now, despite all this confusion, and despite being proper fucked, and despite this general surprise attack that shouldn't have been a surprise attack, the Union center, which is held up primarily by the Germans, they do hold pretty well, and they hold long enough that if the Union is actually able to get a new battle line established, which is kind of back towards the Rappahannock area, they're starting to create a half circle, semicircle almost.
Okay.
But that's the second day of the battle on the 2nd. Now, at night, Jackson is going to be patrolling the lines. And at this point, the lines are a little blurred between what's northern and what's southern. But Jackson himself, instead of sending an orderly or a runner or a scout, he's going to scout the line himself. He wants to see the battlefield. By the way, Jackson did lose a substantial portion of his army in this first attack, because this dude likes to average about 50% casualties. So keep that in the back of your mind.
You throw enough bodies
in all the major battles that this guy's got, it's at least 30% that he's lost, up to 50% on the average. So maybe his troops, who might love him to his face, in the back of their head going, it's not great odds for us to live through this battle.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe we can convince
Jackson
him not to send us into death.
While Jackson is scouting the battlefield in the areas of attack for the morning, his own troops shoot him.
What? I'm sorry?
His own troops
allegedly
mistake him for a Union soldier, and then
they
shoot him.
Chance.
In his arm.
What? That's the worst story I've ever heard. That's not just. It's not in the. That happened in the battles. Because that's not.
Yeah.
They tried to assassinate him.
They might have. They do hit his arm, and it's significant enough that he does have to have it amputated that night. And as we know from amputations, that always goes ever so smoothly. So he,
it's super
at least,
easy. I mean, you just lop it off and pour some whiskey on it and hope for the best.
He is out of the battle. He is gone. Lee's right-hand man now longer...
Is he?
I think it was actually his left.
Is he?
I was going to say now longer has his right hand, but I think it was actually his left that he lost.
So now he's all right.
Now he's all right, but he's not all right, so he will not be participating in the third day of the battle. So... we are now into the third day of the battle. During the morning, Stuart is going to use Jackson's corps. So Jeb Stuart, the head of the cav, he's going to be given over command of Jackson's corps. They're going to seize Hazel Grove and begin an artillery bombardment of Chancellorsville. So while Hooker is sitting at his breakfast table in his house, or in the house that he's occupying, it's going to get hit with an artillery shell, knocking over a beam, hitting Hooker in the head, knocking his ass unconscious. And since we don't have a clear second in command, confusion in the Union line begins to do its thing.
So we're gonna have some confusion at the Union head because has he come to, or did he?
He does, and that's the problem, because when he does come to, he fails to relinquish command and says he can continue to do it. What we know is that he definitely was not in the condition to command. She's
going to command even though he has been just knocked silly by a beam that fell onto his head.
Yeah.
A beam that was previously holding up a house.
Yep.
A roof.
Yep.
That's a big beam.
So confusion is going to ensue all morning as Union forces begin to retreat in a semicircle between the Rapidan and the Rappahannock. And despite General Couch holding fairly well during this battle, a semi-conscious Hooker resumes command and calls for a general retreat. Couch has got to the point where the Union line is solid and could have held its ground, but Hooker's like, no, fall back all the way to the rivers.
Because we don't like to attack, we don't like to do things, we don't like to push forward.
They do. And
win a war. We don't.
While all this is going on, this is what makes this movie even stupider. While all this is going on, we got the Second Battle of Fredericksburg that also happens at the same time, where Cedric decides to finally get off his ass, even though he was supposed to attack the day before. Doesn't. He finally decides to attack now because he was ordered, like, you will fucking attack now. And so he attacks. And he attacks Mayor's Heights, which is where Burnside lost, so many men by attacking over and over and over again. And it's pretty much the same result for the first couple of charges. But the third charge, Johnny, third time's a charm. The Union overwhelms the line. They take Mayor's Height. Confederates are now basically in full retreat back to Lee.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go. At this point, Hooker should have ordered the general assault because
he did.
Lee's back is gone. His rear guard is gone. And he now has an army approaching from behind as well as the army in front. He does not have the ability to hold out a two-front fight. He sees what's happening, and he also sees Hooker's men not moving but retreating. So what does he do? He splits his army again for the second time and sends them out to help stop Cedric's advance, which he does because he catches Cedric at the Salem Church and pretty much stops Cedric from continuing, even though if Hooker pushed... You 3-1 odds here, there, buddy. You can, but
we just don't want to win this war. I don't think.
So we don't want to win the war.
Is it? Are these people profiting from? Is that what's happening? Is this a profitable thing?
They might
be now, at war right now for the generals because they're not acting.
It seems like it. On the night between the 3rd and the 4th, Lee is fully preparing for another assault in the morning. I mean, he's committed at this point. Cedric's dealt with. Cedric's now gone back towards Fredericksburg. I got to try to deal with something. He's going to try to. He's planning for a full-on assault against Hooker's lines. Which at this point, Hooker's lines over this day and into the night when the general retreat was given, they have dug in. There are breastworks built. There are strong fortifications that are built. The Union is behind a formidable wall. Fuck it. Let them come. We still outnumber them.
Yeah,
let them bash themselves against us and show how stupid Lee is from an offensive standpoint. But Hooker orders the retreat across the river, and the army begins in the night to retreat across the river. That ends the Battle of Chancellorsville. An embarrassing loss. The Union is going to lose 1,606 killed, 9,762 wounded, 5,919 missing to Confederates 1,665 killed, 9,081 wounded, and 2,018 missing, which all in all, numbers are very, very similar minus the missing there. So,
so what's that? Like
keep in mind, he started at 70. He's now down to like 55, Hooker. Lee started at 47 at max. He's now down to like 35.
I mean, human people. But
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I want the war to be over, though, Johnny.
I know.
By the way, all in all, between Cedric's army and Hooker's army, he had over 100,000 men that he could have put in the field. To at max, Lee's 47. And that max number is it's a joke. Because
it's a
Lee includes cooks. Lee includes, like, ordnance command. Yeah. It's not just dudes with rifles. Like, that's a very inflated number. May 5th, Johnny, Lee's going to watch Hooker's army retreat.
Not over yet, huh? This week's still going.
This week's still going on. And Lincoln is going to take his anger out.
As well.
Lincoln's going to take his anger out on this loss. He's going to take it out on his enemies when he arrests the leader of the Peace Democrats, a.k.a. the Copperheads. Now, if you don't know what a Copperhead is, that is a Northerner who's Southern sympathy. He's Southern sympathetic, but he lives in the North.
That's a traitor.
You probably ran into a lot of these down there in Versailles there, Johnny.
There's a number of them
around.
I'm not going to call any of them out. I'm not out here to get anybody arrested or nothing, though.
But he's going to arrest the leader for basically being a Copperhead. And he's also an ex-congressman, Johnny. This guy is Clement L. Vallandigham, who's an ex-congressman who's now arrested. Because he doesn't
think
that Lincoln's doing a great job.
I think it's not for that, because I think it's because he is said something good about the South. Maybe.
On May 6th, Johnny, Hooker is going to inform Lincoln of his withdrawal, and Lincoln's going to go, I already know that. It's been in all the Richmond papers. You're very popular in the South right now.
They're loving you.
He is going to write to Hooker and say, and I quote here, bless you and all with you. I know you will do your best. Really, Lincoln? You think that was if that's his best, fire him now! That was embarrassing!
Our best is really bad right now.
Good news here, Johnny. Porter's flotilla, they're going to operate on the Red River. They're going to occupy Alexandria, Louisiana, taking more territory along the Mississippi area. Zone of occupation, so it looks like the Vicksburg area is doing a lot better. Cool. And the week is going to end on two notes, Johnny. First, Lincoln is going to visit with Hooker at his command post and basically say, listen, Lee's cut off from communications with Richmond because your cavalry finally did that job properly, so maybe you should try another assault because he's cut off. He doesn't have communication. He doesn't have reinforcements. He doesn't have a supply train.
And I'm guessing Hooker goes, I'll get to it next month.
Yep.
Call me in July, maybe.
And Grant says, screw supply trains, Johnny. He began to cross his army across the Mississippi. He's now on towards the Vicksburg area. He's going to try to split Vicksburg from Jacksonville. So he hasn't quite decided if he's going to Jacksonville yet or if he's going to go up to Vicksburg. But he's marching his army in the general betwixt them to cut them off because Jackson's the central supply hub to Vicksburg, and it's the capital of Mississippi. So take the capital, right?
Yeah, might as well.
Let's go.
And interrupt the hub.
Grant, in order to speed up this march, decides to say, fuck the wagons, fuck the supply train, I'm going to live off the land. He's engaging a new type of warfare where you're going to literally steal what you need as you move along, which is twofold. That denies the enemy of supplies. It denies the people, the citizens of the area of supplies, which lowers their morale, might increase their desire to end the war quickly, and it also frees your army to move quicker because you don't have to worry, you don't have to wait on trains, you don't have to wait on wagon trails. You can just move your army as quickly as you can.
Talked to a guy from the future, and he mentioned this thing called war crimes. Are they?
No, he's not killing people.
Now
it's fine. No, it's fine. Spoils of war is what we call it. Spoils of war. Spoils of war. It's fine.
Is that what that
is?
Just
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
We're gonna have.
And you're sure he's not killing anybody or harming people in any way?
I guarantee you, Grant's not.
Do you?
Grant, yes, himself, Grant. He's not. The rest of the army. But Grant, he's not. He's not. Grant's not going to get his hands dirty. But we'll have to wait till next week to see if this new type of warfare is going to work out for Grant. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight. We talk about all kinds of fun things, like how me and Johnny went to Gettysburg and were a little bit underwhelmed.